What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. It is the 14th day of April. And here we are at about 74.5K with roughly 10 hours and 45 minutes left in the day. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here, and let's get into it. Okay, we had a massive day yesterday. We had a very massive day. And my assumption was, and I said it very loudly, I said it very clearly throughout all of this, right, that we would likely pump. I wasn't really under the assumption that we'd get above this high. I did think that we'd return to it. Somewhere just above 73K was kind of my guess, but we went a little bit extra. And that's okay. We did talk about the possibility of going above this high, and that even if we did go above this high, we were probably not going above this high. Right? That was the main thing. The high from back in the 17th of March, about a month ago here, the high at about $76,000. I'm not expecting that we go above that high. We could. It is possible. It certainly is possible. Um, but here we are between this high here and this high there. We've seen the higher high. We had a nice little push yesterday. I'm not completely sure as to why the market was getting excited. There wasn't anything new in relation to the Iran conflict, but I very much do believe at this point in time that we are at the point where we should be moving down, where the long trek down will begin. That does in fact take us below $70,000 and probably even below $69,000. We could even from here, take our sweet time and see a lower low than this low here, and then sometime in May we start to recover. And it might not be this cut and dry down and up. It's probably going to look something completely different, but it was like that here. Kind of was like that here as well. But again, volatility in between. I want to get into the short term stuff, and then we can work our way back out to the daily stuff and see if we can come up with anything. So on a 1 hour time frame, I must admit this actually looks pretty good. This is not bad consolidation. It's nice to move up aggressively and then just move horizontal. That's actually a really good look. We are dying off in volume, and that's fine. Volume dying off, and then pushing through. It only matters whenever you push through that volume comes back in. So it's really not that big of a deal. It doesn't look bad. We had a very similar look here, and then we kept going down. But overall, this was still basically like a sideways range, right? We had this look here at first where we were like moving sideways. We had the double top, and then we moved down. How far did we move down? Well, from the high of the range, 72.8K, all the way to the low of the range here, 70.4K. That's about a $2,400 move, about that. Then we moved here, we moved sideways, and what did we do? We moved lower still, but basically moved sideways and then moved up, right? Basically moved sideways and then up again. This time we moved sideways and we had a false breakout and we moved down. But still, after the sideways, we did break out to the upside, but it was a fake out, and then we broke down. Then here, we moved basically sideways, slanted sideways to the downside, kind of how these were slanted sideways, and then we moved up as well. So these slanted sideways ranges, I don't think are. I think the reason that we're seeing this right now is not necessarily positive structure, but because of a lack of volume overall. We're getting volume on the movements, but we're not having any volume in between. These are what are known as BART patterns, right? These are BART patterns, and we're BARTing up. I would imagine we BART down. That's probably what's going to happen. Um, it's pretty obvious at this point, at least that these last two instances were BART-like, especially this one here. We'll see if this plays out the way that I think it's going to. The 1 hour time frame, looking at the RSI, we do have a little bit of bearish divergence there. The stochastics have come out of the overbought zone, but we are bouncing off the 50. That's not a bad look. The RSI does look pretty good as well. The MACD is positive overall. We are building a little bit of bullish or bearish momentum. Typically in this situation, I would expect that the MACD kind of tapers off and then maybe works its way back down to the zero, and then we can try again for some bullish stuff. But this is just the 1 hour time frame. This is nothing extreme. We could go down here and then come back up and rally, and this is well away from my targets of sub 69K. So it is possible that we hold support and that we do make another run, but I will make that judgment from a lower price, not from here. From here, I would imagine if we do see higher prices above 75K, it'll be in a similar fashion as this fake out here, and then we will likely move lower. If we look at this on the 4 hour time frame, and I mean, we've been here. We've been in this little range in the RSI since, back here in early February, we've just been range bound. We're not really doing anything trending wise. We're not trending up. We're not trending down, right? We're kind of just range bound and sideways. We do have a little bit of an uptrend here that we kind of broke out of, but again, it's mainly just range bound. Every single time that we've been near the overbought zone, at the overbought zone, in the overbought zone here, we can put a double circle there, one right there. I mean, every single time, and if we really zoom it in here and we get all of these points here, let's just see. Every time that we've been overbought, let's just go for it. Overbought here, what did that promote? And again, this whole range that we've been range bound by in the RSI is also the time that we've been range bound in the price as well. Since this day, literally since this day of like February 6th, I want to say, it might have been as early as February 5th, but I think it was February 6th. The thought that I had in mind, and I've held that thought ever since, and it's prevailed to be true, is that we will move sideways. We'll move sideways. That wasn't the straightest line. I kind of dipped there. I didn't mean to, but sideways, that we would move sideways. And that's exactly what we've done. Every dump gets pumped into and vice versa. We just have continued to move sideways. And we're at the upper limits of sideways. So I think we're going to hit the lower limits of sideways. That's exactly where we're going to go. Oh, darn it. I deleted everything. Let's keep the RSI bubbles. Here, relative high. Here, relative high. It's pretty obvious to see. Here, relative high. Here, relative high. You did come down, you continue to build. Relative high, you came down and continue to build. The actual high of this move overall, and then you really came down here. Here, relative high. Here, relative high, and you came back down just a little bit. We're not talking about extreme drops here, but that is from about 73K down to 71.4K. And every single time we sold off here, I don't know if you guys remember, this was not that long ago, this was about a week ago. People were super bullish at the top, super bullish at the top, and people were bearish at the bottom in such a tight range. It was just very bizarre how sideways we've moved for so long now, since February, exactly as forecasted, and yet still people are polarized, completely polarized, ready to see the price tank or prevail to the sky. It's pretty interesting behavior. But again, every single time that we've seen this overbought reading in the RSI has even still been a relative high point. Now, nothing extreme, certainly not calling for prices down below 69K like I am, but still a relative high. Here we are yet again in the overbought zone, and I do believe that we will at least see some type of pullback to this degree, which would be, that's like 70.4K to 67.7K. I mean, that's just under $3,000, if I'm not mistaken. We'll see something on the lines of that, a little bit of a pullback from here, if not more. And my expectation is more. I think that we are working the long haul down to form the next higher low of this range, if not even a lower low. We really could, from here, even go down like $10,000. We could genuinely drop down below 64K. It is completely possible, and still not break out to the downside. I would imagine if we do that, Iran conflict really starts to escalate down at the bottoms. Everything seems bleak and hopeless, and then some kind of deal is made, and then we prevail. Whatever. But I don't think that we're breaking out of this range to the downside or the upside, at least until May, but likely June or July. We could find our top in May. Maybe we find our top in June, but I don't think that we break out until June or July. But at the earliest, May. We look at this on the 4-hour time frame with our indicators. I stop painting a picture here and just start doing the TA. Again, the RSI is very bullish right here, but every time we've been up in this area, it's been a rather good time to play the short side of things. Even if it's just for a little bit. Maybe we only drop down, read 74.6K with the highs at like 75K. Maybe we only drop down to 73K. Maybe we only drop down to 72, 70K, something like that, and we get a higher low, and then we build again. But that's not what I'm going for. I think that we will see lower prices. The MACD here bounced off the zero. This is very bullish, guys. This is extremely bullish. This is a really good look on the 4-hour MACD. Pay attention. That positive look there, bouncing right off the zero, got you this move. It got you this move, and now your oscillators are back up here. Your histogram is just as high as it was before. You're probably going to come down. You probably are. Stochastics are overbought, and they've been overbought for quite a while. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, they're all systems go. as far as bullishness goes. But I am skeptical right now. America's waking up. I'm skeptical that this morning hangout up here, and that this little comeuppance that we're having here on this 4-hour period, I'm skeptical of the outcome of this. I don't think that we're going to go higher. I think people are going to wake up and they're going to see the price here and be like, oh, I knew it was going to go higher. It's like $700 higher than where it was last night, or $500, $300 higher than it was last night. I'm waking up, it's time to buy. And then we'll dump down. That's typically what happens. We do make nice little movements around the 15th hour most of the time. Let's see. I mean, here, this is the 12th hour to the 15th hour. We made a move up, and that was what started this cascade higher. Might we do the same here today, but to the downside? I think so. You know, here, 15th hour was the low here that started this cascade up. Here, this move, that was the first hour. Interesting. We sold off on the first hour there. And then we also sold off on the, oh no, that was the 13th hour. Okay, that wasn't the first hour. This was the first hour, though, as well, that we sold off. Interesting. Maybe we consolidate here for the rest of the day, and then we dump down going into tomorrow. I don't know. Anyways, the whole thought that I have here, mainly, plainly spoken, is that we're moving sideways. Every pump will get dumped into. In this essence of sideways, we are at the top range. Can we go a little bit higher? Sure. Sure, we could go, you know, the highest price today is about 75K. We could go a little bit above 75K. Maybe we do. I'm not expecting that we go above this high, but if it does happen, we will see a slightly higher high and still likely sell off. And then all the bears will be vindicated, and they'll say, we're going to zero, we're going below 40K, we're going below 50K, whatever the crazy stuff might be. But we're going to be bullish probably in this range below 69K. And maybe as low as like 63K. I'm not expecting at this point in time that we go below this low. I definitely accept it as a possibility. What I am expecting is that from here we will be going below 70K, and really I think that we even go below 69K. That's what I'm expecting. You know, we look at this. Let's see, low to high here. Went all the way down to the 786 there. Low to high here. Went down to the 69 level there. Low to high here. Went down to the 886 there. So we're talking about golden ratio retracements, if not deeper, typically, right? Low to high here, 786 again. If this is the high or in proximity to this high, the golden ratio here is all the way down at about 68.7K. So again, backing up the idea that we likely do see targets below 69K, if not maybe as low as 66K. We could go lower. It's a possibility, but I'm under the impression we hold this low as support. We probably see a higher low, not a lower low, come out of this. Hit that like button, subscribe. I would imagine that this happens before the end of the month. The way down has been a lot faster than the way up most of the time. We probably do, if not get below 69K by the end of this month and find our low, and then maybe we have a little end of month rally. If we don't see something like that, we will continue to drop into May, and then likely from May we will recover. All the sell in May people will be wrong again. Take care. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all. Bye-bye.